Friends, let me start with a question that can change your perspective. Have you ever felt that feeling that something big is about to happen in your life, but you can't define exactly what it is? I am not talking about any change, but a true turning point, that moment when the doors of financial prosperity begin to open and luck seems to conspire to their advantage in each step. However, there is a common misconception that needs to be undone. Most people believe that wealth is suddenly enough, such as a lottery prize, an unexpected inheritance, or scam of luck. But life teaches us that it is not quite like that. True abundance never rises out of nowhere. She comes slowly, as a careful process, testing her determination with each step, as a master who evaluates her disciple before revealing the deepest secrets. Before your bank accounts are filled, before you feel security and financial freedom, life sends important signs, clues that only those who are attentive can see. These signs are not visible to those who only wait for miracles, but for those who know how to observe, who listen to their intuition and understand that success is not limited to money, but to the wisdom that accompanies it. When I was young, I also thought it was enough to work hard to make the money automatically appear. What a mistake! I saw many acquaintances strive without ever achieving what they wanted. Why? Because they could not recognize the signs. They did not realize that life, in their silent language, already announced what was coming. It is not theory, it is a lesson I learned in practice, with errors and hits, and that today I share with you. Allow me to tell a personal story. Around the age of 20, I worked in a small business with a modest salary and few perspectives. Every day, looking at my accounts and thinking about the future, I felt anxiety that I couldn't explain. It seemed that everything was out of place. It was then that strange things started to happen. A customer came to me asking for advice. Someone else offered help without me. At first, I didn't understand if they were coincidences or something else. But that's when I realized a fundamental truth. Before prosperity comes, life begins to send small signs, as if testing our readiness to receive it. These signs are not always pleasant. Sometimes they manifest themselves as internal discomfort, unexpected challenges, or obstacles that seem to make no sense. But if we know how to interpret them, we understand that they are preparations for something greater. You may be wondering, okay, but how to identify these signs? How to know that my moment of financial success is near? Let's get there. But first, reflect on how many times we let these messages go unnoticed. They are around us every day, but we ignore them because we are too busy, attached to the routine, or waiting for a miracle, without realizing that the miracle is the result of observation and conscious actions. It is these signs that separate who really conquer the abundance of those who only dream of it. They are like tips from the universe, saying, "You're ready. You can move on. Take advantage of your opportunities." However, most people ignore them simply because they did not learn to listen. Right now, I want to reveal what these signs are. These are not abstract theories, but lessons I learned over decades, tested by time, difficulties, and real experience. You will find out how to recognize the evidence that your moment is coming and what to do not to let it escape. So if you still believe that wealth will come by chance, it's time to rethink this idea. True opportunities appear for those who are aware, who sees the signs, and is prepared to act. And if you follow until the end, you will learn to tune your mind with the frequency of success, decipher these messages, and prepare for the day when prosperity will no longer be a desire and become your reality. Believe me, this knowledge is valuable. It is not accessible to everyone, but those who learn to see gains and advantage that most do not even imagine. Now, let's get down to business. How to identify these signs. What are the clues we can't ignore? I will share with you a proven wisdom for time and my own trajectory. First signal is an internal discomfort. Many people see this as negative, a reason to stop, but it is actually one of the most reliable indicators that you are on the verge of a transformation. When he was young, he worked in a monotonous job with no prospects. Day after day, I felt a strange tension, as if something weighed on me. I didn't understand why it bothered me so much. My friends said, "That's how life is, gets used to it." But I knew it wasn't just tiredness, there was something bigger waiting for me. And guess what happened? This discomfort propelled me to seek changes. I started exploring new opportunities, talking to people I had never considered before. And that's how I took my first steps towards my future success. Those small projects, seemingly casual contacts and proposals that seemed random, were, in fact, signs that my comfort zone had become too small. It was time to expand my horizons. The second sign is the people who come in and out of your life. I remember a saying that my grandfather always repeated: "Tell me who you walk with, and tell you where you will come." I saw this happen countless times. When you start to walk your way, life seems to evaluate who is truly aligned with your goals and who only holds you. Those who support and inspire you become bridges for new possibilities, while those who pull it down ends up moving away, as if the universe is cleaning its way. Certainly, it has gone through this. A longtime friend suddenly disappears, and at first you get frustrated, thinking you lost an important connection. But over time, he realizes it was a sign. Life was removing someone who could disrupt their growth. Instead, people who open doors, customers, partners, mentors appear. These signs do not always come smoothly. Sometimes they come in disguise of pain or disappointment, but it is through them that we are guided to the right relationships and opportunities. The third sign is the small victories and coincidences. Many people believe that only major events indicate that success is close. Mistake. The universe tests our readiness through small conquests and apparently casual encounters. A customer chooses you for no apparent reason. An unexpected amount appears at the right time. A contact that seemed irrelevant turns into a valuable connection. All of this are signs. I remember my first project, which at first glance seemed insignificant. I thought, this will not lead to anything. But a month later, that little work resulted in a contract that changed my life. Therefore, never underestimate the little things. They are the foundations of their financial future. The fourth signal, internal ideas and intuition. Wealth comes to those who know how to hear themselves. Often a subtle voice whispers us, give that step, try this project, pay attention to this opportunity. Wisdom teaches, never ignore your instinct. I have already lost countless chances because I doubted it, because it seemed too risky, and each time it happened, regret came later. But when I learned to trust my intuition, success began to flow. It is essential to understand that the signs are not mere coincidences. They are always accompanied by an internal response. If you feel a weight in your chest, an inexplicable anxiety, or, on the contrary, a sudden wave of energy and clarity, are messages. Your task is to pay attention and act. The fifth sign, willingness to act. I never tire of repeating, wealth belongs to those who move. The most beautiful signal in the world is worth nothing if you stand still, hoping things happen alone. The action is the bridge between signs and financial success. In my life, there were many times I saw a signal, but I postponed the action to after, and then I had to start all over again. But when I act immediately, when I trusted myself, the results appeared faster and more accurately. Money and prosperity are the result of attention, wisdom, and, above all, the decision to take the first step. The sixth sign, gratitude and appreciation. It may seem simple, but it is one of the most powerful pillars. When you recognize the signs and thank you for the small opportunities, the universe seems to amplify this flow. I realize that, being grateful for little things, I see more possibilities, more coincidences, and mice people willing to help. This is the key to preparing for a true and lasting wealth. Friends, if you are aware of these six signs, internal discomfort, people who come and go, small victories, intuition, readiness to act, and gratitude will be on the way where wealth will no longer be a dream and come true. I want to emphasize, wealth is not just money. It is knowledge, connections, experience, wisdom, and all of this comes to those who know how to see the signs, who learn from small successes and failures, who are not afraid to act and trust themselves. Therefore, start observing these signs today. Write down your perceptions, observe the people around you, celebrate the small achievements. The more attentive you are, the faster the prosperity will come into your life. And remember, each sign is a tip, a small lesson that brings it closer to your goal. Now, let's go further. We talk about how wealth does not come by chance and how the universe sends clear signs before it manifests itself. We analyze internal discomfort, attention to people, small victories, intuition, action, and gratitude. But it's time to connect all these points and turn them into financial and real personal success. First, never ignore the signs that life sends you daily. Many people spend years without realizing them, thinking that success will come alone. I saw this happen to talented and intelligent people who let out great opportunities simply because they didn't hear their inner voice or notice the clues around. The signs do not scream. They are silent but persistent. At first you feel a slight tension, a passing question, a strange coincidence. And when he learns to recognize them, he understands. This is his chance. Second, it does not fear the discomfort of change. I know many may think, I'm already tired. I'm afraid to risk it. It's scary. Believe me, fear is a natural reaction, but it is also the first sign that you are growing up. When it leaves the comfort zone, it begins to see new possibilities. My experience taught me that the greatest transformations come through this discomfort. For years, I was on the brink of a great project and felt a genuine fear. But when I decided to act, this choice opened doors that I didn't even imagine. Third, Choose your circle with wisdom. We have already talked about it, but I want to reinforce your success depends directly on the people around you. Those who support, inspire, and offer advice become their guides towards prosperity. Already those who criticize, distract, or disturb end up leaving alone. Sometimes it hurts, but that's how life shapes the right environment for you. And remember, each person who enters or leaves your life is a sign, a small lesson that prepares you for financial maturity. Fourth, do not underestimate the little things. Minimum coincidences, seemingly insignificant victories, none of this is chance. I remember a small business, which seemed irrelevant at the time, but opened the doors for much larger contracts. Every action of you, every step, no matter how small, builds the greatest picture of your future. Do not discard the small achievements. It is through them that the universe tests its readiness. Fifth, trust yourself and your intuition. I saw many people lose opportunities because they doubted or gave more importance to the opinion of others than their own inner voice. Wisdom says, if your instinct whispers something, listen. He will never betray him. Of course, intuition should be accompanied by action. Listening is important, but acting is even more. Sixth, act without delay. I repeat this because it is the maximum law of financial success. A signal without action has no value. Any opportunity, any insight only becomes useful when you take the first step. If you postpone, if you wait for the perfect moment, it can never arrive. But when you act, everything fits like a puzzle. My greatest successes came when I made the decision to act immediately. Seventh, cultivate gratitude in each step. Thank you is not just education. It is an energy that attracts more opportunities. I notice that when I am sincerely grateful for the small victories and the support I get, more chances, resources, and ideas come to me. The wealth that comes for those who do not value do not remain. Already those who appreciate each moment and each lesson is prepared for lasting abundance. And finally, the most important, wealth is not just dinero. It is wisdom, experience, connections, the ability to help others and create something significant. When you understand that, money becomes a tool, not an end. True wealth is knowing how to see the signs, act intelligently, and build a life where you create opportunities yourself, instead of waiting for them. Now I want you to take a simple but powerful step today. Start observing these signs. Write down your perceptions, the little victories, the coincidences, the ideas that come out of nowhere. Pay attention to the people around you. Listen to your intuition. And, above all, act. Don't wait for the perfect moment. He is now. If you want to go further, if you want more practical lessons, stories, and insights, follow the space. Here you will find more tools to see the signals and turn them into real prosperity. Act wisely and build your prosperity step by step. Remember, wealth is not a gift of chance, but the result of those who observe, interprets the signs, acts with determination, and cultivates gratitude. Every choice you make, every action you take, is a step that brings you closer to success. And I'm sure of one thing. If you apply these principles with consistency, you will not only find abundance, you will create it with His own hands, with intelligence and attention, following a path already proven by those who came before. So don't let this opportunity pass. Subscribe, enable notifications, and walk with me through this journey where each sign is a chance, each challenge is a lesson, and each achievement is a step towards your dreams. Life is generous, but it rewards those who know how to see beyond the obvious, to value what they already have and act with purpose. When you master this art, prosperity will not be a matter of luck, it will be a natural consequence of your way of life, and you will be ready to receive it. There is still much for what to come, inspiring stories, timeless wisdom, and practical lessons that will make all the difference in your way. Don't miss any of this. Subscribe right now, because your way to abundance begins when you pay attention to life and the small actions you repeat every day. And I assure you, as soon as you learn to recognize these signs and to act in tune with them, your life will never be the same. The change begins here, and it starts with you.